Inside Ball, the review of round 4. Bloody hell. If you're a tipster, I don't know anybody. If you're leading a tipping comp at the moment, hey, Kev, how are you, mate?
Good, Dobbo, how are you?
If you're leading a tipping comp, you have no idea about rugby league. I'm going to say that because let's just run through the rounds. We'll unpack all the games. South beating Penrith, 28-18. Okay, that was a bit of a shock.
A bit of a shock?
Well,
they're the premiers, mate.
Okay, well, there was a shock. Uncle Wayne, we trust. You picked the Titans. Well done. 30 points to 12.
Yep.
Broncos beat the Dolphins. That's fine.
That's normal.
Yep. Dragons beat Melbourne.
Oh.
Not normal.
Not normal.
This is where if you tip the Dragons, you're only a Red V supporter. I even go as far as say Cowboys beating...
that's an upset.
That's an upset. 30 points to 20. Canterbury beat the Sharks. 20 points to 6.
Another upset. That's a big upset, mate.
Manly Morals, they beat the Eels. But the Warriors 26, the Tigers 24. I think if you are leading a tipping comp up the last week, you're either very tinny, you didn't put your tips in right.
You get the away teams.
You got the away teams, or you know nothing about rugby league.
Or you're a genius and you picked it right. I mean, I got a couple. I'm no genius, but
you are.
I tipped the Titans to have a win. I tipped the Broncos to beat the Dolphins. That's not really, that was always probably going to happen.
That's 2. You also said Melbourne were going to win in a cakewalk, when that didn't happen.
Oh, yeah, well, I wasn't to know that they had 6 line breaks and couldn't convert 1.
Yeah, I know. Let's unpack it. We'll get through it all. But the big story I've got to talk about, and if we can, let's...
Now, you're all over this, hopefully, aren't you?
Well, the Daly Cherry Evans issue. Okay, Manly won yesterday 26-12. Everybody thought he was going to be booed. He wasn't booed when he ran out.
No.
He wasn't booed when he ran out. He played well. And then he got into the press conference and he talked about a smear campaign.
Well, explain to me what the smear campaign is.
Okay. This is, and I don't want to get too technical, but the bottom line is there was never an offer made to Daly Cherry Evans at all, despite what Manly say, till that offer went on NRL 360 last Monday night.
So he was technically able to talk to clubs.
He is off contract at the end of the year.
November 1.
Yes.
He's a free agent, right?
For the last 2 years, he has wanted to try and get a deal done to re-sign. No luck. Two clubs approached Daly to say that they had received phone calls from Manly who had tried to shop him in the last 2 years. 2 clubs, 2 NRL clubs. So Daly was aware of this.
Right.
Also, is it true in 2023 he asked for release to come home to Queensland? That's 100% true. 100% true. But
where was he going? To the Dolphins?
I think he was going to go to the Titans. I think he was going to go with Des to the Titans. At the end of 23, he asked for a release.
Right. They said no.
They said no. Well, they didn't say no. They said there's $1 million price tag on this transfer fee. So they put a $1 million transfer fee.
Right.
There was promises of a testimonial that's never happened. Right? There has been promises that they were going to come up with an offer. That never happened. So Daly, in December, told them, okay, respectfully, this will be my last year at Manly. Now, they were aware of this.
Right.
Absolutely aware.
Okay.
It gets to round 3 and all the speculation is coming. They rang Peter Gentle, lunchtime, 12 o'clock. Nothing.
His management rang.
His management rang. At 4:01, they rang Peter Gentle, who's the head of football there, and said, mate, we are going on Channel 9 to make it clear that it's over and just to dispel anything. And Peter Gentle said, well, he's not going to bag the club. No, no, of course not. That was it.
Right, so they were well aware of what was going on.
Completely aware. It gets to, and the technical details can be a little... He had not received an offer. Everybody's talking about this money. Oh, Daly's greedy. Daly, he wants 2 years. How? No offer. You can have all the debate. He never got an offer. The first offer he ever received was that on NRL 360. Now, if you're Kevie, you've been at a club 15 years. You're their captain. You're in the conversation as one of their best players. And the first offer you get is you hear about it on a TV show.
Yeah.
Mate, come on.
Yeah, that's not.
This is going to get exposed this week, and I'm being the smear campaign out of Manly. The people who have lied, it's going to come out this week.
Why don't Manly just come out and say that they're
they stuffed up, mate.
They thank Daly for his contributions to the club, being a great captain, great leader, but we can't afford. Maybe they can't afford him on the salary cap. Maybe
they can afford him. They've made an offer now, but which respectfully got declined. And I've got to be honest with you. I've got to be honest with you now. I've spoken to so many people about this. It is not about money. How could it be about money and terms when there was no offer?
Well, I've heard that he's chasing $1 million.
Right.
Right? And the Manly offer was $700,000 a year.
Okay.
I don't know.
If they'd offered it, can I ask you this? If Manly had offered what they're claiming they'd made an offer early in the day, why then would they double down and go with it again on TV that night?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
It makes sense. It doesn't make sense. People say, oh, well, he's greedy. He's not greedy. You know him well. You tell me. You know him so well.
I do know him well. He was the captain of the Queensland team that I coached. I never saw him as a greedy person. I think he's very much team orientated.
He's shy and he's private. That can get taken for arrogant, but he's not that.
No, but he's grown as a leader, you know, through his work with the State of Origin side. And is he worth $1 million a year? My word, he is. My word, he is. So that's not the question or what's his value worth. But it's the thing that I can't get my head around is why Manly have treated him the way they have.
That's a question that they want to answer.
Because even if you don't want to re-sign him for next year, there's a respectful way of saying that and spelling that out to the player and his management that, you know, we're moving in you see it all the time, we're moving in another direction.
Well, he's 36, so you can understand. Manly have well within their rights
and he's
to
been
go,
well paid at Manly for 10 years.
Yeah.
So maybe they want to move. You know,
Manly are well within their rights. But don't come out and say and make out like that. And that's what the smear campaign, which was, you know, destabilising it and making him look greedy, that he wanted more, that he wasn't a club first, because he would have stayed there. And I think it's going to come out this week with all the facts that a lot of people have got this wrong who have been blaming Daly for this.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very clear this week. Well,
do you think if that Manly offer had been put on the table on the 1st of November that he would have signed with Manly?
Yep. I think if he'd been offered back in December when they were having conversation,
a year for 2 years,
whatever the figure was, I think he would have signed it. Mind you, he was aware that he'd been shopped around. He asked for a release and they just absolutely flat. Now, I'm not going to go into the reasons why he wanted the release, but that will come out at some point, and it was valid and after everything you'd done. So, and the promises that were made, and last year now it's coming out that there was a senior Manly official bagging him in front of other officials at Magic Round last year saying he holds too much power at the club. All these little things have factored in.
Hang on, Dobbo. The captain of any NRL club has some power, mate.
Bloody oath he does.
And if they don't have power, then they're not the captain.
But what I'm trying to say is you're joining the dots here that there's been a lot of things that...
Right, so they're trying to...
That he has now got to the point where he's like, okay, they don't want me. That's fine. I'm going to go in a different direction. And when he's done that, this smear campaign, which is what it has been this week, about him... greedy, wanting more money, selfish.
Not team first.
You can only see yesterday how he played.
Yeah.
You can see how the players got around him. Like, you saw how the Manly fans, the biggest reaction that a lot of people, there was different parts of the media that thought, you know what, the whole crowd's going to boo him at 4 points yesterday. Didn't happen.
No.
Didn't happen. He did a lap of honour. And they can say he's on a PR stunt. He thanked all the fans. That's how much it meant to him yesterday.
Well, it's got to mean Manly's his club, mate.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not sure how he'd be feeling internally or his mindset, but...
He said it had hurt him. He was very honest. In the press conference yesterday, he said he was very hurt.
Yeah. Well, that would hurt, I would have thought. If you've been at a club for so long and in such an important position as well, you know, you're the halfback, you're the captain of the club... You know, you drive standards. That's what DCE does, whether it's on the field, off field, and then for the club, to say, well, thanks for your services and move on. And I get it. Manly got to make decisions as well, but it's not really the way that you'd think they'd treat DCE, given what his services have been to the Manly club.
Just focus on this. There was never an offer. So and this will come out. The detail is there. The actual proof, and I've seen the proof. There was never an offer. Right. Like, they're saying they made these offers. There's never been an offer. First offer was at NRL 360, and that's fine. That's how they want to do their business. But then you got to understand that not everybody's going to operate like that.
Right.
Let's move on. DCE.
No, I want to find out where he's going to. Do we know?
There's two clubs at the moment.
Roosters and Dolphins.
Roosters and Dolphins, and both clubs. I haven't spoken to the Roosters personally, but I've spoken to the Dolphins. And they are going to do everything they can within their power to get Daly Cherry Evans there. Right. Now, don't rule out Titans because of the relationship with Des.
Mm. I don't think they need a half, though.
No, they don't. But I mean,
someone of that calibre, But the Dolphins certainly could do with a bit of a leg up.
Bloody oath. Dragons have ruled themselves out.
Yeah.
Dogs aren't out there as well. So it's a 2-horse race. Now, Daly lives...
Well, it's not a 2-horse race. It's a chook up against a dolphin.
Right. Who wins out of a chook and a dolphin?
Well, if it's in the water...
we know what's going to happen. Where would you... I'd like to see him at the Dolphins.
I would too.
I would because...
he started there, mate, as an 8-year-old kid.
Yeah, his family just live around the corner.
His dad played for them as well. He's a Queenslander. I like seeing the Queenslanders come home. They've done most of their work in Sydney or other clubs. Good to see them back in a Queensland club jersey, And then, of course, Origin this year, is he going to play? He's
making a decision in the next couple of weeks.
Well, I reckon Billy Slater's on the phone right now, talking to him, trying to convince him. Be good to see him have a swan song there.
Yeah, well, I mean, part of me thinks that Daly's done, and I don't know this. I have no knowledge.
You're only saying that because under that shirt, inside ball shirt you got on, there's a blue heart.
There's not.
Ticking away. A blue heart. Anyway, that's Origin. We've got to get to that later in the year. I can't wait for Origin, me and you.
Okay, no, we are not going. I have supported Queensland, and you know this, and I've supported you. I am not wearing a blue heart. I am not a blue heart, okay? Leave that be. Let's go. We talked, it was a little bit, I'll touch on it. Should we be worried about Penrith? Beaten 28-18, 3 in a row.
No. I think once Edwards gets back.
Yeah, and Cleary.
And Cleary, they're a totally different team. And they are a totally different team at the moment, but it must be frustrating for Ivan Cleary to be where they have been and then to fall. Yeah. They've fallen pretty... What are they sitting, 12th or 13th or something?
No, they lost 3 games. They got the Cowboys on Thursday night. Cowboys this weekend, Friday night. I think they're closer than everybody thinks. They're a very good side still.
They just made mistakes again on the weekend, or was it last Thursday night, against South. Kicked out on the full, a drop out in the full, errors. It's just not... I think their ball control was like 69% or something. Now, they're normally high 70s, early 80s. That's how they beat you, is they just control the ball, kick to the corners, and they out-defend you. But because of the new players in the team, they're still building their relationships with each other and combinations in defence and attack. So it's just not working for them. And I've walked in those shoes, Dobbo. It's hard work as a coach.
I bet.
It's frustrating, but he's had so much success, and the club have had so much success, in the last 5 years. That would be tough to take for them at the moment, but I can see them fighting their way out, and I can see them making the 8. I don't think they can squeeze into the top 4, but it's Penrith. We didn't think they could win last year, and they did.
No, they did.
So they need a few more weeks. Let's have a look at them when they got their full strength team in, and we'll go from there.
Isaiah plays 250 games for Penrith this weekend. He will be the most capped ever Penrith Panthers player.
Yeah.
If they can't get up for this week, I don't know whenever. So, Panthers fans, I'd say my moral of the week would be Penrith to win.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that on Thursday.
Yeah. But I saw him after the game get interviewed.
Yeah. He was frustrated.
He was frustrated, but he was still calm and in control of the interview. Not where do we go to from here?
Yeah.
He had a good clear picture in his head as the captain, who just walked off the field after 80 minutes. He had a clear picture in his head of where they were going. And he was calm. 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 He was where they need to go to move forward. So I thought that was a really positive thing. The most positive thing of the whole night was listening to him speak after the game, after they'd been beaten, but he could see better days ahead.
Can we talk Titans? You picked this. You did pick this. The Titans 30 defeated the Roosters 12. The Roosters had so many opportunities early, didn't capitalise.
They scrambled well.
Yeah,
the Titans.
Titans did very well in this one to get to the lead. Tino was massive for them. What did you like from this performance? Back-to-back wins, and it shows that they've got a bit more about them this year than we expect.
They certainly do. And I actually was fortunate enough to stay at the same hotel as the Titans in Sydney.
Is that right?
So I caught up with Des, just we crossed paths on the day of the game, only for 5 minutes in the foyer. And
you got a pretty good relationship with Des, didn't you?
Yeah, we roomed together on a kangaroo tour.
Yeah. So how was he?
He was good. Yeah, he looks fit and he's that hairstyle. I'd love to have that hairstyle.
Good hair.
He loves it. Yeah, we roomed together back in 1990 on the kangaroo tour, and I was one of those players. I was an emu, they call.
Yeah.
You know, I'd never played test football on that tour. Des was on the fringe or he was actually in the test team on the bench. So I used to have my nights out a lot of nights.
Des was
prepping for the games, and particularly on like the Friday and Saturday nights when the main team used to play on the weekend. So I'd come home and I'd actually help Des with his preparation. I used to get home about 2 or 3 o'clock with a fair bit on board, and I'd wake Des up, wrestle him for a bit, and then he'd do push-ups and sit-ups, and I'd sit on his back, and he'd be doing the push-ups. I'd count them. Oh, he was such a nice player.
How was he the other day? What did he say about? Did you ask him about his team? Or
he's happy with how they're going. He's really happy. He said disappointed with round 1 or round 2 it was for them against the Bulldogs, but he said they good match last week again, and they carried that against the Knights, and they carried that form to Sydney. But their away form for the last 2 or 3 years. But I think he's changing their preparation on travel when they play away, and it's working. So they went down on the Wednesday, and Des didn't tell me this. I just found out through my spies.
Yeah.
Thanks for that information, Dobbo. On the Wednesday, so they changed their prep. Yeah. Train, travel on the one day, and so get the day off on the Thursday, and then they played Friday, which it worked for them. Jaden Campbell and Brimson, I think those two are a really good combination in the halves. And Jaden's such an instinct player. You saw that intercept to win put him in front.
To the lead,
took him to the lead, and that's just instinct. You can't coach that stuff in players. He said in his post-game interview that he put himself in a position between defenders, or between attackers, so he could attack the ball rather than just try and defend. So that's instinct. And he picked the pass, intercepted, and he's got the speed to go 100 metres and score. So it was a pretty defining moment. And then they got a couple of late tries. Brimson picked up a loose ball and scored. So the scoreline maybe flattered them a bit.
A little.
But their defence was the one. They scrambled well. It's a good win against the Roosters, and the Roosters have had their troubles this year as well, but the Titans away have struggled, and they put that baby to bed nice and early in the season, which they'll get a lot of confidence out of that, a lot of confidence.
4:30 game in Queensland on Saturday is they take on the Dolphins. Yeah, which is important.
That's a huge game for the Dolphins.
Massive game for the Dolphins. Let's talk about that game. Broncos defeating the Dolphins 20 points to 12. I got to say, and I'm being honest here, the Broncos got to win, but they are nowhere near a finished product. I wasn't super impressed coming away from the Broncos on the weekend.
Well, they're winning at the moment. Their completion rates are really high, so they're giving themselves every opportunity to win. The Dolphins haven't won a game. Let's keep that in perspective as well on their opposition. But I thought there were some improvements from the Dolphins. Brisbane had so much possession over the 80 minutes. Early, it was all the Dolphins. They just couldn't.
Well, they bombed a try after 2 minutes. I mean, if Gilbert gives to Herbie, it's over. They put a try there.
And I thought they went away. The longer the game went, the more they went away from the plan was obviously to play through Brisbane.
Yeah.
And they tried to go around Brisbane. They kept feeding Herbie and on Katoni. Katoni does such a good job defensively. But after 2 or 3 shifts to that left side, they should have said, well, hang on, how do we get through first? Nice and direct, playing short balls. That got them through early. They stopped doing that. They kept going to Herbie, and Herbie, work your magic. Well, Katoni Staggs is a good defender. He's just And they've got a history, those two, from last year.
Yeah.
He's just not going to let Herbie have a free run. He was all over him. So they never had plan B or plan C. They just stayed at plan A, and unfortunately it didn't work for them. So, they've got to... Marshall King is the key for them, Dobbo. He's got to be more creative.
He's quiet at the moment.
Yeah.
He certainly is quiet.
I'm not sure what's wrong with him. They're not getting the ruck speed that he needs to create. So he's got to start creating himself, and he can do it with Hammer and with Nicarima. I think they're the three to drag them out of the position they're in.
Yeah, they certainly are.
But they defended all right.
What about that? But I mean, I'm going to talk about it here, and we might even get it up. The Cobbo, the 40-20, the Dolphins come back, right? The 40-20 call. Mate, Cobbo has his foot on the touchline, hand on there. That changes the complexity of it. They're the little 1%ers. They're just not getting at the moment, the Dolphins.
No, they're not getting much luck at all, and I think their coach, he said that after the game. So that was a big moment in the game. And the Broncos, Cobbo threw that pass. What did he throw? About 30-metre pass,
Out the Walsh, and they got out there. Like, they're throwing some risky football. I know Brisbane won, and it's great, and I think they beat the West Tigers this week. But to me, they've only had one real stiff opposition where one team's really put it to them.
Well, that was the Raiders,
and that was the Raiders.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's hold our judgment.
Well, this will be a better judge this week. I think the team,
West Tigers team,
the Tigers team. I think they're certainly a top 8 side. They've shown that.
Yeah.
Luai has just galvanised them and given them a lot of confidence the way he plays, the way he goes about. I know they lost yesterday, but they look a much better team. So it'll be a good test for the Bronx. That game's on Saturday
night
afternoon. I was in Sydney with Fox calling the game or panelling. The crowd was mostly
45, but mostly Dolphins.
Mostly Dolphins.
I would say mostly Dolphins.
Really?
Yeah. So they've got their own following there.
So the Finns were up early.
Finns were up, but they were there, but they were upset. But they played hard afterwards. I mean, the rain didn't determine. 45,000, mate, it was pelting rain. Yeah. Like there's some, if it's raining for me, and you can say what you want, I'm like, unless I'm in corporate, I'm not going.
No.
I don't do the rain anymore. Like the guy with the poncho, unless the
whoever
boys
sells the ponchos would have made it.
Mate, they made a lot of. There was a lot of ponchos, mate. Yeah, because you can't take an umbrella in there because it's seen as a weapon.
It's dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you've got ponchos. There was some who just decided, that stuff it. We're going
at half. Some left at half time back to the Caxton. People we know. Dobbo.
Yes, we do.
Surrendered at half time and went back to the Caxton, to the drier grounds and drier scenery of the which I get it.
They're not real fans.
It makes sense.
They're not real fans. Hey, look, let's park the Bronx win. It was a good win.
Shibasaki first.
Can we just talk about Gem and Shibasaki? Go.
Yeah. Oh, look, I'm really impressed by
Man of the match.
Yeah, man of the match. 2 tries.
He's from Bronco.
176. Yeah, he came through the 20 system there, and then just didn't progress. I think he's found himself again, and what he's been away, which you often see players that leave the Broncos and they think that the grass is greener and other clubs are better. Well, he's been away. He's looked back and seen the success. The Broncos got to a grand final in 23. He's seen the success of the club and think, well, hang on, the last time I was there, did I really give it my all? Did I really lock into being a professional rugby league player? And I'm sure his question is no. So he's got a second chance, and he looks fit. He looks fast, strong. Avarillo was having nightmares. Like he just kept, they were shifting to his side, and Avarillo, he couldn't handle him, really. And he's picked up 2 tries. He's in great form. So his next step now would be to get a longer-term contract.
Well, he's on. He's in the top 30.
He's in the top 30. Was he training trial?
He was training trial.
Yeah, you've got to be in top 30. So what's that one? What's the top 30 wage?
Not a lot
150.
Yeah, 150. Not a lot of money. Not a lot of money. I'm going to get to the Broncos salary cap in a minute at the end of this. That's the big talking point. It's a big talking point.
It is a big cap.
Dragons, Melbourne. Obviously a real big upset. I saw you there, mate, down there in Sydney in your bag of fruit. What's the go, mate?
Yeah, it was good. I was out at Cogger, suburban ground. Blocker and I called the game for Fox. Laurie Daly was there. He spent he spent the afternoon in Craig Bellamy's coach's box. Of course, he's part of the New South Wales coaching staff this year. So that was interesting. We had the Premier of New South Wales at the game as well. He was in the tunnel. But after the game, so call the game, I thought the Dragons did really well.
Did very well. Yep.
Some great scrambling defence. Storm had their chances, but not quite there for the day. But after the game, I'm in the lift coming down, Blocker and I, and John Howard is in the lift. He reaches through and says, "Oh, g'day, Kev. How you going, mate?" We shook hands. I said, "Yeah, I'm good. All good, thanks, John." Or sir. I called him sir. He looked like he had a good day out with the Dragons. Right?
Well, he's a Dragon supporter.
Was he in the dressing rooms as well?
Yes, he was.
He went down there.
Hang on. You called the former great Prime Minister John Howard sir?
Sir.
Right, not PM, like all...
No, well, sir as in, respectfully. I know he's not a sir, but sir as...
Mr. Howard.
Mr. Howard, yeah. But there's I've met him before, Dobbo.
He knew who you were.
I'm not name-dropping here.
Yeah, you are.
Prime ministers and people that I know.
Yeah, but he sought you out.
He sought me out. And Blocker was there, but he went straight to me.
Did he say good day to Blocker or no?
Yeah, he said good day to Blocker. How are you going, big fella? He looked up like that because he's not a real tall man. He's not a real tall man. But then it reminded me I should have gone onto my phone. I've got a photo, and we'll put the photo up. After the 98 grand final, there's a photo of me and the Prime Minister. We've got a 4X, and we're chugging away after the game.
I love this.
I'll put it on. So I wanted to show it, but it all happened too quickly. You
should have got a photo, mate.
Should have got a photo. I know.
Johnny Howard.
Should have got a photo.
Johnny Howard seeking Kevie out in the lift. I love this. Cowboys 30. Raiders 20, first win of the season. Wow. Jake Clifford, you superstar.
Wow.
2 tries. Where's he been?
Well, he's been playing. It was only his second game, to be fair, of the year. Last week against the Broncos was
They look much better, Kev.
Yeah. Tommy Dearden, mate, different player. Those two halves were brilliant. I really liked what they did. Even saw signs from Robson, the 9 for the Cowboys and for New South Wales. Some life in him again. Yeah. Some energy. Tom Malolo was solid through the middle. Cohen Hess, sin bin there. I thought that was the opportunity for the Raiders and they picked up 1 try, but then they held him out. So it was a good win, and I was pretty happy and relieved for Todd Payton. He's been under a bit of pressure, and that's been relieved for a week at least, because it's hard. Mate, coaching's hard, mate.
Canberra absolutely butchered this game.
Yeah.
Well done to the Cowboys. Savage goes down the right hand side. He has Owen Paddy inside, doesn't pass it. These bloody wingers and these heroic wingers wanting to do it all themselves.
What about 8?
I know the Warriors winger, like there's lots of wingers, but let me just say this now: pass the ball. Don't hog it. You remember there were every kid, every hog when you were a young kid was a winger. Yeah, they just go on.
Do you know why they're a hog?
Why?
Because the first rule in rugby league is wingers can't pass, mate. That's why they're on the wing,
mate.
They got no one to pass it to except the ball boy or the crowd or the touching.
I just cried. I was like,
they can't pass, mate. Tell me a winger that can pass. Sorry, wingers.
I don't know.
They're built for speed.
Yeah, well,
right?
This is the problem, mate, because unless you're a Mountain, and Savage isn't a Mountain, right? But he had Owen Paddy on the inside. Yeah. I think this would have taken them to the lead. Yeah, and gone. And anyway, it's all history. The Cowboys win 30 points to 20. Well done. Look, the Raiders have got the Sharks on Thursday night. Tough assignment. Cowboys have Penrith on Friday night. Tough assignment. I'm going to say this. The humidity up there was horrific. So
they had a break. They had a 20-minute break.
You can't judge the Raiders on that performance. There were so many lost opportunities. They're a good side. Cowboys are a good side. I think we saw one of the premiership heavyweights legitimately on Saturday, the late game. Canterbury 20, Sharks 6. That Canterbury side now, they're the real deal. Yeah. I don't care what.
No, they're the real deal.
And everybody talks about the Titans getting flogged. You are up against one of the top sides in the Dogs. They are the real deal.
Yeah, and Cronulla at home are an even harder team to beat.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I watched this game from the Qantas Lounge. They were really good. They didn't surprise me because they've been good, but what I could see watching the game on Fox was just the connection among them. Every time something happened, whether the opposition dropped the ball or they forced an error, they would run in as a group and just slap each other. And the energy that creates is it's working for them. And Cherry picked up too. He's a obviously a very good player.
Yeah.
Hard to handle. He picked up a couple of tries, and they were clearly the better team, and they frustrated the Sharks with their defence.
Yeah.
Now, they're not a big side, Dobbo. They're forwards, except for King.
No.
Like, he's pretty big, but the rest of them, they're only average height, average size, but they just
work line,
so,
and line speed's unbelievable. They've got
so
unbelievable
hard together, and to do it without two of their star players,
no kick out, no Burton. Carraz wasn't there.
Carraz as well, yeah. So that's a big win at Shark Park, because we've seen many a good side go to Shark Park and get rolled.
Yeah.
So terrific win by them. So that puts them at the top. They're the only undefeated team.
Only undefeated team so far.
Yeah.
Manly, we talked about them, 26 points to 12. They're rolling along. You called this game, 26 points to 24. West Tigers got beaten. What about this Warriors winger? I think he's in his third game. He backs himself. Mate, the size of the winger, I know he didn't pass. No. He scored. He just ran over the top of everybody, that bloke.
Yeah, he's a big fella, and I just love that finish for him. He's got the up to the crowd. You see a lot of that now, don't we? Which
they've won their last three, the Warriors.
Yeah.
I mean, they got beaten badly by Canberra in week one.
I started the call, and I said the Tigers would win, and then after the kickoff, so the Warriors have kicked off and just belted them really aggressively, and they so much so they dragged one of the Tigers players back into the end goal from the kickoff. You know? So I thought, well, I'm going to change my tip here, and I jumped on the Warriors, and I managed to get it. It was a lucky win in the end.
Mate, there was a couple of issues. I mean, Jerome Luai is a freak. How good is he going? I mean, even with 2 minutes left, he put a grubber kick in that set up that could have changed the game. If he doesn't kick it, if he picks it up, he's got numbers on the inside. It's away. What was he thinking?
Yeah, I don't know. And Lachlan Galvin, in nearly the last play of the game, he chipped over it as well for Taruva. And it was brilliant work by Nickel Clocksut, because if he doesn't, if he's not in position there to make that tackle, he passes inside and they go and score. Yeah. So that hats off to him. But yeah, it was a really good contest, nice and physical. And the Warriors, they're on the bye now, so they pick up another 2 points this weekend. Yeah, well, that's the worst thing. That's the worst thing. Yeah, worst thing that could ever happen to them with the bye. They'll hope to see the Broncos in a couple of weeks. Broncos third, Titans are fifth at the moment. They're the two top 8 sides there. Dolphins haven't had a win, and obviously the Cowboys have had their first win. But Broncos are third, Titans fifth. That concludes the round 4 review. Who do you like out of all those sides? Is it the Dogs that have really impressed you after week 4? Yeah, I still think, they're sliding in there, the Dogs. Good form, good early form. Broncos obviously going to be thereabouts. I think the Storm, certainly. I think the Storm, bit of a hiccup on the weekend. No Hughes, no Nelson. Yeah. So that you'd expect them to be there. But, it's been a great opening 4 weeks. I like it when the underdog gets up and throws a few and gets on the scoreboard and then wins. It's good for the competition, mate.
Yeah. Okay, big talking point. Then this is the big talking point of the weekend.
I've got another big talking point from the weekend, Dobbo.
Go.
Right? I went out yesterday to watch my son Harry play in the Queensland Cup, right? Just Sunday. If I'm not working, we go as a family. Yep. So just a quiet afternoon, So he gets out there, and and I want to send this message to everyone that's if you've got nothing to do on the weekends, head out to a Queensland Cup game. Yeah. Right? So the Storm sent up Suali Faialago to play, and also Lazarus, is it Vaialupu?
Yeah, Vaialupu.
Right? Yeah. So I'm on the plane back on Saturday night.
They're on your flight.
And Lazarus walks past me, and I'm in the aisle seat, so I nudged him. He's a big fella. He had his Storm shirt on, and he knew he recognised me. I said, "You take it easy on my young fella tomorrow." I said, "Don't you be bash at him." He just laughed, and walked to the back of the plane. So I texted Harry and said, he's on his way, and he said, and then he texted me back, "Is Suali on the not Suali,
the fullback, yeah.
Is he on?" I said, "No, I haven't seen him yet." Right, and we're pretty close to shutting the door. He's one of the last ones on the plane, so I text Harry, "He's on. You better get ready." So go and watch him play on a Sunday afternoon. And then the Broncos dropped 5 or 6. He got Tyson Smoothie, Ben Marty Tapau, Blake Moser played he was really good yesterday. Yeah, Moser. Anthony Milford's playing in the halves for the Broncos.
Mate, the Jets are the same. The Jets beat the Sunny Coast on the weekend, and they've got like some of the players. Sorry, they beat Tweed on the weekend. They've got, all these Titans
players dropping back in.
Yeah. Barlu, he was there. Like all these, unbelievable. So it's great watching.
Yeah, but I just go to where I normally sit there, right? And Payne Haas and his family's there. Billy Walters and his family's there. Steve Price, the legendary Bulldogs, because his daughter is married to Tyson Smoothie.
Yep.
Right? Steve Price is there. But the whole host of who's who of Brisbane Rugby League,
Did you have a good afternoon?
Oh, it was fantastic, mate. Just sitting there. I love those
tins? You have a few tins?
No, I didn't. But it was just nice sitting there, local suburban round, Davies Park.
How'd they go, mate?
They won.
Did they? How did Harry go?
Harry went well, only played the last 20, but
got off the bench.
And went well.
Come on, Carmichael, give him a bloody start.
But Carmichael Hunt coaches South, and then you got Hodjo there as well. Yeah. Justin Hodges, the assistant coach, and Lottie. I don't know where Lottie was, but he wasn't there. I think his side, he coaches the BRL reserve.
So he might have been on the road.
He went on the road. So, it was a great afternoon.
Big talking point, get out, support your local football.
Yes,
Queensland Cup is unbelievable. I want to talk about Brisbane's salary cap.
Well, how big it is.
Well, how hard it's going to be. I believe that Brisbane, and there's an article written by Peter Bedell today, but I believe that Brisbane are in a position now which most people don't realise that they are going to lose some players. So Moser has re-signed for 2 years. They'll be announced this week. That's done.
Right.
You got Billy there next year. Smoothie's gone.
Yeah.
But players that they've got to try and re-sign, Kobe Hetherington, you'd think they'd get that done. Like, Cobbo's off. Pakes is off. You've got Corey Jensen off. Renault's off. Kev, talk to me how difficult it is going to be for the Broncos to keep a lot of these players.
Well, it's going to be extremely difficult. My experience with the salary cap, at the Broncos was you can't keep everyone. We lost
Farnworth and Flegler. Yep.
Keenan Palacia, everyone forgets.
Tommy did. Yeah.
No, in that from
in that
grand final team,
Capes.
Kurt Capewell. You basically have to keep releasing players that you want to keep to keep players. And Penrith have been through it. They know the storm.
Yeah.
But so it's hard. So at the moment, the big ones I see, right? Katoni Staggs, I think he's done a deal, has he?
He's done.
Right.
He won't be going anywhere.
Selwyn Cobbo.
That's the one. Selwyn doesn't want to leave Brisbane. So if you're the Dolphins or the Titans, you'd be making every possible play you could to get him, because unless he's going to stay for near on nothing, because they just haven't got the room for him. But I think a club could get him for under 500,000.
Selwyn?
Because he wants to stay.
He wants to stay in Brisbane?
Stay in Brisbane.
Well, the Dolphins would be logical.
Well, that would make sense. You'd replace Jermaine Azarko for there, or you'd play him in the centres. I think so. But Brisbane, he might stay at Brisbane, but if he stays at Brisbane on a 1 year deal, because I think he'll wait and see because of the new franchises coming in, if there's an appetite for him to go to PNG or to Perth.
In my time there, Selwyn didn't strike me as a sort of person that with the money side of it. Right?
No, so I think if he stays at Brisbane, it'll be for a mere smidgen of what he can get everywhere else. Right. And that's honest.
Now, what about their captain?
Well, that's
Adam Reynolds.
Let's talk about it.
Well, he's
off contract. He wants to play on. He's going to play on next year.
Right.
So...
Well, it can't be at Brisbane.
He hasn't been offered at Brisbane.
But it can't be at Brisbane. They can't afford him, mate. Well, he could play there again, but on a couple $100,000 a year. They can't keep all the players. They can't keep Selwyn at the moment on a normal fee. Let's just talk normal fees, not reduced fees, normal fees. Someone's going to get squeezed. Not just one, but two or three. Now, Hunty's come in, into the team, so that's going to squeeze more out. When Hunty signed, and I think he's a great signing, but that has a flow on a ripple effect through your cap. You can't, the old saying, you can't keep them all. So, they've got 5 hookers.
Well, Billy's there next year.
Yeah, well, Billy signed there.
Yeah, Billy signed there next year, right? Yep. Pakes is the one.
Pakes is the one. He's off contract, isn't he?
Yeah, he's off contract. So if he stays, it'll be for 150,000.
Right.
So he might stay. He might be happy with that. But I can't see how they keep him all. I just can't. And with the Reynolds situation, I'd love to see Adam Reynolds stay in Brisbane, but I don't think he will because I don't think they can afford him. It doesn't matter how good. And if he's playing the football that he's playing, because he is the difference at the moment in that side.
Well, he is, mate. Well, he's a leading try assist for the Broncos.
He's been unbelievable.
Well, that's, mate, I know I'm not being a smart ass here, but that's why
we got him.
We got him when we were there. That's why I got him, because that's what he brings, mate.
So what would you be keeping Reynolds?
You have to, mate. I know they got Ben Hunt there, so and Ezra's sitting in the background. Ezra hasn't even played a role yet.
Yeah, but this is what.
But how good is Ezra? If you're struggling one day and you're a Broncos fan, go back and watch the 23 grand final.
See how Ezra goes.
That's Ezra's standard.
You watch that a bit, that grand final? Just asking. I just stood on ask. I just stood on ask and just put it out there.
If I'm feeling down, I'll whack it on. I tell you, mate. But just that 20-minute period. No, turn it off.
That's all. Okay. Questions for Kev.
So hang on, we haven't finished that chat.
Well, I don't know what the solution. I don't know what the solution is. They got cap problems.
Right.
Brisbane have got cap problems, and that's the facts.
Righto.
They can deny all they want. They can say they want to keep everyone. You just can't. I don't know what's going to happen. But watch this space because somebody's going to get squeezed
Jensen.
out. I don't think he'll be there next year. I think he'll get squeezed out.
Really?
Unless they take less. They take little.
No, they'll take less. Yeah, okay.
I've had to take less to work with you. Anyway.
That's understandable.
Kevs Cooking Tips. We'll just Kevs Cooking Tips because what you did. Last week it was a roast. We know that Harry Walters ate all the crackle and we destroyed the lamb. This week, Kevs Cooking Tips. What was at the Walters house for family dinner?
Well, we had an indifferent night last night because I had to call that game.
Yeah.
So I got home a bit later. So it was an easy meal. So we just did homemade pizzas.
Right. And was everybody there? Did you have Harry, Ava?
Harry, myself, Ava.
Yeah.
It was a quieter night because
Right.
not many at home. So it's easier to throw a few pizzas in the oven,
Okay. So this is a very divisive topic in our household about homemade pizzas. Do you use the normal base or do you just go and get those little wraps and then use them? Or do you get the proper?
No, I get a special base in from a special place.
Right. Yeah.
The IGA at wherever you can go.
Yeah. And then you put your own toppings on.
Put our own toppings on.
Okay, give us the Kevin Walters special.
I just have pepperoni, mate.
That's it?
That's it. Simple.
What? Cheese, like a tomato-based sauce?
Tomato base.
Yeah.
Pepperoni, cheese on top. Bang. I got that from that creativity from Miltonio.
Right.
Pizza Miltonio.
Yeah, I know. Down at Milton.
They normally I get my pizzas from there because they do
very good pizza.
Very good pizzas.
But you've decided now that...
Well, I just didn't have time, so we got home and I had the pizza bases there, so we just put it together.
You'd think Harry would have done that for you. Why? He played the game. You think he would have come home and said, Dad's working. I'm going to put the pizza on. Or are you a bit of a control freak when it comes to...
I'm a bit of a control freak when it comes to the pizzas.
So Kev's Pizza is a pepperoni pizza.
Simple, mate, yeah.
Well, I think you should make one for us.
Yeah, well, I'll bring one in next week.
I love that. There's
some leftovers there. I should have brought them in. We can heat them up.
We don't do leftovers. We only do that. We have a special guest on Wednesday. This chat that will drop on Wednesday is an icon in sport in Queensland. He's been around the world. I'm not going to tell you who it is. Tune into Inside Ball because on Wednesday we have one of the greats. And it is an interview that you won't want to miss.
No, it's a beauty.
It's an absolute beauty, and a lot is said, and there's a lot of... If you're a Queenslander, you're going to love this bloke even more. I'm just going to say that. That's all I'm going to say. If you like Queensland and the Maroons, you are going to love this bloke even more after this chat. Inside Ball, go to our Instagram, please. We've cracked over 1,000 followers. Facebook, if you want to share us, please, it's all there. We'll give you updates. Kevie's on board. I'm on board. We've got a lot to get through. Thursday's our next episode when we preview round 5, and we've got a lot to get through as well on that day as well. We'll have a betting segment. Kev's going to come up with some tips every single week from now on. Yeah,
I will have some specials, Kevie specials.
I had a good one yesterday. Manly to win, DCE to score. He didn't score. I mean, but Manly
won. You did have a good one. You lost it.
Yeah, well, what I thought was a good one. But anyway,
Kevie's tips are going to be the ones.
Righto.
Stay on board.
Inside Ball. We'll catch you on Thursday. Remember, Wednesday, we have a huge guest dropping right here on Inside Ball. See you later.